This week on Game of Thrones.
What's up, guys? It's Mike and Andrew from the Earth's Mightiest Heroes back again for another Game of Thrones recap and review. This week we are going to recap a little bit of episode 4 and then get right into episode 5 entitled The Door.
So we fucked up and we missed last week because this dude was at Disneyland.
I was.
And I was in Las Vegas, Nevada. So we are back this week for double the Game of Thrones fun. And by fun, I mean misery and sadness. So, let's go.
So last week, we got to see Jon and Sansa finally get reunited. We see Littlefinger for the first time this season.
Tyrion does his best Abraham Lincoln impression and ends slavery.
The Lannisters do some plotting.
A little bit of collusion with the Tyrells, which we didn't think was going to happen. And let's see, Dany shows her boobs again.
Dany becomes a badass again.
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
And
she is in control of the Dothraki again.
And that's where we start with episode 5, which is entitled The Door.
Major spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this week's episode yet, pause the video, go watch the episode, come back, because you're about to hear something that you don't want to have spoiled for you. Go do it now. Okay. Something really, really, really sad happened this week.
Hodor is dead.
Hodor is dead.
And we found out that he's not saying Hodor, really. He's saying, hold the door.
Hold the door.
That was like one of the most heartbreaking deaths, I think, in this whole show.
It was like Mufasa plummeting to his death.
Pretty much. And it lasted so long.
In addition to being a medieval show and a zombie show, Game of Thrones is also now a time travel show. What happens in the present actually happens in the past, but apparently only if Bran is warging into the past, and apparently only to Willis and or Hodor and or hold the door. It's a weird space-time continuum thing that we don't understand. Hopefully, it's going to play out somehow into something that happens next.
So now that we have that out of the way, we're going to start at the beginning of the episode where it shows Sansa opening a letter from Littlefinger. So Littlefinger wants to meet with Sansa, and they do. And Sansa is none too happy.
No, she's actually
definitely does not
quite a bit pissed off.
Yes.
Understandably so.
Absolutely.
Basically, she looks at Littlefinger and says, "So guess what that asshole Ramsay did?" And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. And she's like, "Well, I want you to fucking talk about it." And he's like, I really am not just feeling any interest at all in talking about it. And then Brienne kind of puts her hand on her sword, and now he wants to talk about it.
Yeah. She's like, you are going to talk about it, or you're not going to be standing there anymore.
Yeah. So he says, like, one thing, and she's like, "Go on." And he says another thing, and she's like, "Go on." And then he says something else, and she's like, "Yeah, but does he look like a bitch?" No. It's a lot like that scene from Pulp Fiction.
Basically, Littlefinger says that he has troops for her if she needs them. And she doesn't really want his help, but I think she's going to use those troops.
I think she might need help. Then we hang out with Arya, and even though she has her eyes back, she's still getting her ass kicked. This time without a stick even. She just gets uppercutted, right hooked, fucking done. Right?
Out.
Right? Apollo Creed style. What's going on there is they don't really believe that she's committed to the many-faced god, and they decide they're going to give her a couple more tests before they let her join their little club.
Yeah,
right?
They basically say that she's screwed up twice, and this is her last chance. If she screws this up, then they're just going to kill her.
They send her to watch this play, and she has to kill one of the actresses from the play. Well, it turns out the play is about the Baratheons and the Starks, and she basically has to sit there and watch people pretending to be her family. There's a guy playing Ned, and he just pulls it off like a complete idiot. And she's kind of sitting there just stewing and getting angry.
Well, she was loving it at first when it was making
yeah.
fun of the Lannisters.
Yeah, well, fuck them, right? And so she's getting pissed, and she goes backstage somehow. I don't know how she got that access. I was trying for weeks and couldn't get it. She goes backstage. She's hanging out, watching the actress that she's supposed to kill, and she goes, "Hey, this lady's actually kind of nice." So she goes back to Sexy Jesus, and she goes, "The lady's kind of nice. I don't know if I really want to kill her." And he's like, "Are you backing out of your shit?" And she's like, "Well, no, I made my choice." and that was it. We don't know what the choice is yet.
So then we see Bran warging again, and he's in the past, I guess. I mean, pretty far in the past. And we see the tree children group people. And basically, it's like kind of a confusing scene when I was watching it. Really didn't make a lot of sense.
It's weird because they're in the tree,
Yeah.
but he's warging back to the same tree at a different point in time.
Yeah. And so we see one of the tree children put like a stake through this dude's heart, and his eyes turn blue, and we learn that it is the first White Walker. So
it's the Night King.
Tree, yeah, it's the Night King. And so basically they created the White Walkers because they said that they had to.
Right. And boy, did they fucking regret it. So then we sail away on a ship to Boring Town with Theon. And we are at the Iron Isles, everybody's favorite shitty place in the world. And Theon gets off the boat. He goes in to talk to Yara. He's like, "What's up, sis?" And she's like, "Fuck you. Where the fuck have you been? A bunch of people died looking for you. What the fuck? We got your dick in a box, though, so that was pretty cool. Thanks for that Christmas gift." So anyway, they kind of bicker a little bit. And with the king being dead and all, and his only son returning, there's a little bit of talk going on about who's going to take over the throne, all right? The sister wants it for herself. She's a little bit concerned that Theon's going to want it. He doesn't want it at all, but she doesn't seem to believe him at first. She changes her mind really quickly about it. Then we go out to basically this kind of town hall discussion, I guess you would call it, if we were in a modern election. And basically it's like a step forth and tell me if you want to be king sort of deal. And she steps forward, she's like, "I'm down, I want to be the king."
Yeah, she makes this like huge speech about it, and everybody really seems on board.
Yeah, people are
one
like,
guy.
"Yeah, woo."
And the one guy is like, "That's cool and all that you made this speech, but we
You
can't
have a vagina.
Yeah, we can't have a queen. We need a king." And especially when the last son of the former king is standing right here, and so Theon basically has to stand up and be like, "No, I think my sister should be the ruler of the Iron Isles."
Right. And everybody's clapping. They're like, "Oh yeah, go Theon," right? It's very much like the end of a Disney Channel original movie. And then Euron walks up, and he's like, "What's up, motherfuckers? Yeah, I killed the king. I don't care. I should have done it before." And they're all kind of like, "Well, yeah, maybe you should have." And he's like, "Are you going to listen to Theon? He doesn't even have a dick." And they're like, "Well, that's a really good point. Maybe we should listen to him." And so, long story short, he becomes the king. It's kind of weird how he does it. What they actually do is they hold his head underwater, and they drown him, and then he kind of dies for a second. And then he just lays there on the beach and comes back. They all talk about what is dead may never die. And he is looking around, can't find his niece and nephew, who he wants to go murder. Turns out they stole half the fucking Navy, and they're sailing off to God knows where.
So then we cut to Dany, and she's talking to Jorah, and basically he pronounces his love finally to her. And she basically is like, "Well, you can't walk away." And he shows her that his arm is all screwed up from the stone people, whatever.
He's got the thing disease.
The thing disease. She says to go find the cure and come back to me, and I need you for when I take over the Seven Kingdoms.
In the 2 weeks since Tyrion and Varys made a pact with all of the Masters, there have not been any attacks by the Sons of the Harpy. So that's a really good sign. This woman who is one of the servants of the Lord of Light, she's got the same necklace going on as Melisandre. She shows up and she's just kind of talking about, "Hey, if you guys are on our side, which I think you are, we can help you out." And Tyrion's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it." And Varys is kind of a little confrontational about it.
Yep.
He didn't like it very much. And Tyrion's like, "Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing?" Like, yeah, it was kind of weird. I don't really know what to make of this scene at all, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. We kind of are getting a little bit of backstory on Varys now, which we've never really have had. He's kind of just been like this, like, cool, calm, collected dude. And so clearly he's had some, like, weird run-in with the Lord of Light or something.
So she knows kind of exactly what he was, like, hearing in his head as he saw his wiener thrown into a fire by a sorcerer.
Yep.
So she's got some kind of weird ability to glimpse into the past, and he is intrigued by her abilities, but he's still not super convinced.
So then we go back to Bran. He army crawls across the room and grabs a root from the Three-Eyed Raven. And I don't know if he warged into the past or whatever he did. He went to the past and is seeing a huge army of White Walkers, walks through them and walks up to the leader of the White Walkers, and basically he touches him.
The leader of the White Walker
touches him,
grabs his arm,
and so he wakes up. He's like, "Oh shit, what just happened?"
He looks at his little arm.
Looks at his arm, and it's all blue.
Got some blue shit just in this area.
The three-eyed raven is like, "Well, I guess it's time for you to take over my post because you screwed up. You're not ready yet, but
you got to do it.
You got to do it.
It is time."
Because once you're touched by the leader of the White Walkers, they can come in here.
They know where you are.
They know where you are. So that's good.
You are now the three-eyed raven. It is decided. Shoot back over to Castle Black. We're hanging out with the Dream Team now, right? We got Jon Snow. We got Sansa Stark. We got Tormund Giantsbane. We got the Red Woman. We got fucking Davos, all right? And we got Ed, everybody's favorite Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I think I speak for everyone when I say he is probably the most decisive Lord Commander that the Night's Watch has ever had. We're in this room, chilling with the Dream Team. They're coming up with a way to take back the North. At first, Jon doesn't really want to. Sansa's like, "But Jon!" And he's like, "Okay, fine, we'll do it." So they're going to take back the North. They have to come up with a plan. All right?
They need troops.
They need a little bit of help with the troop action.
Yeah.
All right?
They're like, okay, so there's these two armies up in the north who could be potential allies, but they've already said that they are with the Boltons.
Couple of key points here. One is that Sansa lies to Jon about seeing Littlefinger. She says that she got the news about these troops from a raven back when she was chilling out with Ramsay, so that's wrong, and we don't know why she did that. Brienne calls her out on it, though, suggesting she doesn't trust Jon quite as much as she thinks that she does. Mm-hmm. And Brienne is sent away to go get the troops. Just on like a funny side note, Tormund really, really wants to fuck Brienne.
Yeah.
Like, he's really into it.
Oh, yeah, it's 2 episodes in a row that there's been like an awesome
it's just
moment.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
So then next we go back to really where we started. And it is one of the most intense scenes of Game of Thrones history.
It was awesome and horrible and amazing and terrible.
Yep. It's pretty much what The Walking Dead should be.
Does that make us Chris Hardwick?
Yes. This week on Walking Thrones.
Talking Thrones. You gotta zoom into our face. Alright.
Okay. So we have the White Walker army shows up at the doorstep of the tree place, whatever, and we have the children throwing grenades.
They are basically grenades. What they are is pumpkin bombs, which are used by the Green Goblin in Spider-Man.
So we have all this is happening. These guys are charging the tree fortress, and during this we have Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven are warging into the past, and they're seeing the same scene we saw a few weeks ago with Hodor when he's talking normally.
Willis may or may not be fighting with a young Ned, right? And everything's going okay, right? And then we start intercutting between that scene and the present. This is where shit gets weird. We're hanging out in basically Rafiki's tree from The Lion King, and what happens is the White Walkers are coming in, all right? They are coming in very quickly. Meanwhile, Bran's just kind of laying there uselessly warging out. His eyes are rolled into the back of his head. We look up at the Three-Eyed Raven. He's doing the same shit. Hodor's sitting in the corner, fucking Hodor. He's not useful, right? While they're all being useless, Mira's just like, come on, guys, we gotta go.
Yeah, she runs to the front of the tree fortress.
She sees all the shit.
She sees the thousands of White Walkers coming towards the fortress.
She's freaking out.
She's trying to wake Bran up so that he can warg into Hodor, so that Hodor can take his body away and they can get away all safely.
Bran's in the past, and he's watching Hodor, who back then is still Willis. While all this stuff is happening, Bran is kind of able to like hear some stuff that's going on in the present. They're kind of freaking out a little bit, and you see Willis just kind of start to trip out a little. Bran wargs into Hodor's body in the present. Mira gets through to him, and it works. So they start running out of there, right? They're running down this tunnel. The children are throwing these pumpkin bomb things. They're throwing spears. One of them just kills the fuck out of a White Walker, so that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was really cool.
They're running. They get to the end of this, basically, tunnel, and there's a big door. Hodor's struggling to push it open. He eventually gets it open. The White Walkers are hot on their tail, all right? And they get through the door, close the door, and Hodor's holding the door closed. We go back into the past. Little kid Hodor, Willis at this point, is chilling out. He's been acting a little weird. Now he gets really fucked up.
Yeah.
His eyes turn white. He looks like a warg. He lays down on the ground. He starts seizing out. He's just fucking... He's not doing well, all right? He starts repeating over and over and over again, hold the door.
Which is what Mira is saying in the present.
You'll notice that if you say, hold the door, and Hodor next to each other, they sound kind of alike, don't they? That's where we get Hodor from, okay? Meanwhile, it's just like the longest thing you've ever seen in your life, okay? We're in the present. Hodor is holding the door closed with his back, and the White Walkers are just tearing through it, ripping him, fucking biting him. They stab, like, really fast. I don't know if you've noticed that in any other scenes, but they're just fucking vicious stabbers. He's, like, struggling and crying, and his face looks fucked up. Bran and Mira disappear out into the snow, and Hodor dies.
And that's where we end.
What the fuck? It's really quite a bummer.
Yeah.
I cried a little bit.
It was a big bummer. I haven't been like this affected by a death, I don't think, since like the Red Wedding.
No, it was
like Jon Snow was a big deal, but we knew he was going to come back.
We knew.
But this just he's not coming back, fucked. And he's like the only guy who has like nothing but good in him.
He's not an asshole. He's the only one who's not an asshole. It's pretty fucked up. It's really, really sad.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to happen to Bran now. I don't think Mira can carry his ass all the way to wherever the fuck he needs to go.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So, overall, I thought this was an excellent episode. Last week's episode was amazing, and this one just kept it going.
The punches are fucking flying.
Yeah, this season is great. So what did you think of tonight's episode, or even last week's episode? Tell us in the comments down below. Please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want more videos like this. Check out our website, earthsmightiestzeros.com, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hodor.
This week we're going to end with a moment of silence for Willis.
Tyrion offers his emancipation.
Fuck me! Would you like me to do